Nice.
All right, guys, welcome to the CNS Buyers Bootcamp. I'm the drill sergeant for the day, and I got my team with me here, and we're excited to bring you guys some news.
Welcome back to another show. We're going to talk about some home buyer topics and how you can buy a home and not be so scared about it. It's going to be super easy. Anyone that's in the chat, please throw out some questions. We'll answer it and address it. So no stupid questions here. Just throw it out there. So today we're going to talk about where do you even start in buying a home. Do you guys have any inputs on that?
Well, the first thing you need to do is definitely get a pre-approval. If you go shopping without a pre-approval letter, you're like going to the grocery store without money. If you find the house that you really, really love, then you have to do a little bit of struggling to be able to even put an offer in on it.
That is very good advice. Most of the times when I'm working with buyers, they'll have an idea of what a budget looks like, but when they actually sit down with the lender and look at all the additional fees, taxes, and insurance, it kind of changes up the game a bit. What do you guys think about that?
I think Zillow is not the place to figure out what your payment's going to be. Your lender
100%.
is the place because they put ridiculous things on there, and you don't know, does it have insurance? Does it have all the impounds? Does it have taxes? Is it giving any credence to what the actual what is the rate? Oh my gosh, brain fart. Yeah, the interest rate. Because they just put random numbers in there. And I see people all the time, they call me and go like, well, Zillow said, and I'm like, please, please, please. The lender is where you get that information.
Yeah, Zillow is not very reliable. I feel like they kind of miss a lot of information, especially if you're in an area that they might not have the HOA fees involved too.
Right.
So,
It's an algorithm. It can only take what's common, not apply it to that specific home. So, if you're in a high fire zone, your insurance is going to be way different than what they thought it would be. So,
And your interest rate, your interest rate, therefore your payment changes a lot depending on your personal factors too, like your credit score, your debt to income ratio, all of that plays in back. So, there's no way that Zillow could accurately give you information. Your best bet is to talk to a lender.
yeah, there's a lot of information for as far as getting pre-approved. So, James, if you are watching this, we're gonna have to get you to come in and talk more about it. So, on top of that, pre-approval is great and all, but what about down payments? Do you think there's a lot of misconception? I'm jumping the gun here of what is required for a down payment: 0, 20%, 10%, 5%. All of that stuff is pretty much open, right?
yeah, it just depends on the loan.
Yeah.
Right, which is why it's important to get that pre-approval. So that's the only way you're really going to find that information and figure out what works best for you. Because, it depends too. Is it going to be your primary residence? Is it an investment property? That changes up your loan product. So it's an important conversation to have up front, for sure, before you start looking. Because like Cam said, we don't want you falling in love and then finding out that you just can't quite get there. So,
Broken hearts.
yeah.
Broken hearts, man.
A lot of things too is that some lenders have special programs, so you can come in with like 0% down, 3% down, 5% down. The FHA is 3.5% down, so housing is super affordable right now with the down payment.
Yeah, plus with such a high inventory. So on top of that, once you get pre-approved, and that's the time where you can actually go shopping. And from my personal experience, when you're shopping for homes, you want to narrow down what you want in a home. My experience with Cam was pretty.
I sold Marvin his first home.
My first home was with Cam, and I remember my wife Sarah was super excited to see homes. It was like around 10 o'clock at night, and she wanted me to call you up in the middle of the night. And I'm thinking, no, let's not do that. He's probably asleep. Like, no, but they're gonna take this house. This was during the pandemic, so a lot of houses were flying off the shelf, and the price was just too good. And I'm super happy with the home, with the price and everything. I feel like that was a super win, by the way. So when you're shopping for homes, you want to let your agent know exactly what you want, and don't just add homes to the tour list just to see. Like, that can skew what your end goal and what you really want in a home. Do you guys agree?
Yeah.
I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's helpful to walk houses and see them in person because obviously online you're looking at photos, so you don't quite know if that's what you're really looking for. So it's good to have a good variety. That way it helps fine tune what you're really after. Because sometimes you think you want something and turns out that's actually not your key feature. You would prefer something else and you don't
Right.
know that until you're walking the properties. So.
Yeah, that's true. And also, like, sometimes people are like, oh, it absolutely positively has to have a fireplace, but then they find a house that has everything but the fireplace and is perfect every other way, and they're like, maybe I can go without the fireplace.
Yeah. I've always wanted a fireplace, so I was excited that my house has a fireplace, and then it's like, oh, you used it maybe 3 times.
Right.
Because I hate cleaning it up after.
And it makes a mess and it's smelly. And you bringing the campfire in. And I'm not saying don't have a fireplace. I'm saying
Remember
For
the
some-
open the
right,
flue
for
before you
some
turn it on.
people, it's a dream. It's not an actual reality. I know people who use it constantly. I heated one whole winter just with the fireplace. I was like, we are not going to turn on the heat. It snowed 2 feet. We did eventually. But I was like, I'm going to use this fireplace. It's work. It's work. No doubt.
Yeah, and then there's one showing that really stood out to me, and that was with Cam. We wanted to, let's just check it out a little bit, and we get to the house, and Cam was standing by his car, and he's like, you guys go ahead. And I was like, wait, what? We got in, and it's like the whole house smelled like cat urine. It was so bad.
Oh, I know that
Yeah,
house.
yeah.
I do know
Yeah.
that.
I did Yucca Mesa
house.
area.
Yep.
Oh, man.
I was like, you guys go ahead. I'm not going in. You guys have fun.
I showed that house a couple, but I warned them. I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
look, this house is stinky, but
It took like maybe half the day for that smell to fully clear out. Yeah.
I remember going into one with some clients and it was pandemic. We had masks on and the people said, no, you can take your mask off. And I mean, the smell hit me with the mask on the sidewalk out front. I was like, do not take your mask off. Do not do it.
Oh, man.
Things were falling on us. It was rough. It was a rough showing.
Yeah. So after you tour homes and you find the one that you really like and you really love, the best part is, you're pre-approved, you have your letter to go, you can make the offer so you don't miss out. Even though, was it that same, once you fall in love with a house, another person is
Well,
going
most
will
likely.
most likely fall in love with
Oh
it.
yeah, it's the next best house
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
everybody's looking for price and looking for those things. And if you see it and you don't have a pre-approval and you're a week out to get your pre-approval, it's gone by the time you put your, if it's a good price. If it's not, it'll still be there.
The other cautionary tale is I tell buyers is let's get the offer in right now so we can lock it in. Because if you want to dawdle and think about it and wait, you're just playing with fire with somebody else scooping it out from underneath you. But once you get it locked in as a buyer, it's locked in for 17 days and you have that inspection period in which you could back out if you change your mind, but at least you have it locked in.
That's good.
Very smart.
Better to secure it than to lose it. And
Yeah.
have the chance to
Yeah.
fully dive into it. Submitting offers on a home, what do you guys suggest? Lowball, ask for seller credit. What is seller credit? A lot of people, when I'm working with first-time home buyers, they don't really know what that is or what an inspection contingency is.
Yeah, so that's a lot of questions.
Let's start with the first one. What is seller credit? Like, how does that?
So seller credit is basically money that the seller is giving to you to help offset your costs as a buyer. It's not money directly to you. It goes into escrow. The lender sees it and applies it to your overall closing costs. So that way you're coming out of pocket less. Typically, if you're going to do that, it's recommended that you add that into your offer. So that way, and it depends on the price, right? Price, house, situation. Like there are so many variables in real estate. That's why it's super important to reach out to a professional who has the experience. But there are just so many different scenarios you can do. If it's priced at a decent price and kind of where market value is at, you want to pad that closing cost in, because it's basically your price, like let's say 250, but you're asking for 10,000 in closing credit, right? So now your offer is not 250 anymore. Now we're 240 because that 10,000 is gone. The seller's not going to realize that. So those are things to consider. That's why we say pad it in. That way you're going a little over, so it makes more sense on the selling side.
If the house has been listed like 1 second, you're probably not going to get credit. If it's been listed a month, let's talk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. a lot of variables.
And we call it seller credit, but as the buyer, you're paying it. You're either paying it through your loan or you're paying it out of your pocket. One way or another, it's actually the buyer's money. The seller is just covering it. So if you have an all cash offer and you come in on that 250 house at 230, chances are they're going to take it. But if you're asking for $10,000 credit, you need to come up. You need to put that in. That's what you were saying. Put it on top of whatever it is your offer is. Because unfortunately, or fortunately, because we've got different ways for buyers to do it, but it is the buyer is going to pay it one way or another. It just, do you want to pay it over time, over 30 years, or do you want to pay it today?
Yeah, another misconception I want to clear up is a lot of buyers are like, oh, then I can have extra money left over to fix up the house. And that's not how loans work. The lender's not going to give you money or the credit to then have in your pocket to fix up the house.
I haven't come across that.
Yeah, some buyers are like, oh, I could get $20,000 in credit and then use 10 grand for my closing costs and I'll have 10 grand to fix it up. Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah,
Right.
because you can only get the percentage that the lender allows. There's a certain percentage that the lender allows. And so they think they'll get a refund check if they use up, like, if you have 10.5 in credit and you can use 8,000 for your recurring and non-recurring closing costs, they think they'll get a check for that other $2,600, and that is not how it works. You could, however, have the seller do some repairs or something, like put in flooring, to use up that money, but you cannot get it back in cash.
Or lower the purchase price.
Right, lower the purchase price.
Yeah, because the escrow can pay the vendor directly.
Right, so there are a few things you can do, but that's negotiation, for sure.
Okay. On top of your down payment, there's closing costs, and I forgot to go over that. What's the normal? Would you say it's an extra 3 or 4% for closing costs?
Yeah, 3 or 4%.
Yeah,
Depending on the loan.
depending on the loan.
Yeah, it really does. I recently had one that was just, she put down so much money that the closing costs were really low. It's where I came up with that 10.5 credit. I literally just had that happen, and she was like, I am not walking away from it. So we had the seller pay for some things prior to close so that we could close. The seller paid for some roof repairs.
Okay.
That were going to be her problem. But since we had that extra credit, we used it ahead of time.
So we to move it along, we got the offer. Let's say we wrote up the offer on a house that you love. We submit it, and now you're going through your inspections, and you get that home inspection report because that's part of your due diligence. What are some ways you guys have some success in getting repairs based on that home inspection report?
I would say just ask for the most important things. If you give the seller a giant laundry list of things, then they get to choose the ones they're going to fix. But if you give them really precise, the bigger stuff or the most important stuff, then you're more likely to get that stuff done.
Yeah. Health and safety. Typically, health and safety, you can push through to have the seller do the right thing.
Yeah.
If it's like GFCIs, that's a fairly simple fix that a buyer can deal with on the back end of things, but
Yeah.
health and safety.
Those are $20 in 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's funny. I was just going to say GFCIs. I've had people say that they wanted them fixed in a kitchen that they were going to rip out as soon as they moved in. Like, why are we putting anything in the kitchen
Right.
on the repair list, including a leak under the sink, when you're going to pull all that out and put new in next week? Let's look at the things that really matter, because you're still going to live here. How about the hot water heater? You know what I mean? Like, let's look at that kind of stuff and leave out the stuff we're going to remodel. I don't know why we would. It's like buying a used car. You can't expect every single thing to be perfect unless you're buying a brand new new construction house.
And then you still have to.
Yeah, that's a good one, but you can't expect it to be perfect. It is a used house. So you need to address the things that you absolutely can't or don't want to have to do.
Yeah, you don't wanna request for like the little things that nitpick.
Touch up the paint,
The light
you know,
bulb
yeah.
fixture is
Right.
different from that.
Just silly stuff that people ask for, like, I don't know, vacuum out the window tracks. Friend, vacuum out the window tracks when you move in. Hire a cleaner. You know, there's a million ways to get around it. If that's your most important thing, then you're gonna have to let go of something else, like, you know, the GFCIs. Because they can't, they're not gonna do everything.
Perfect. So after you get your, hopefully they do the repairs, and then you move forward with it. The next set would be loan appraisal, loan contingency and appraisal contingency. Have you guys had any experience with, you know, where a home fell through because of a loan or appraisal? I mean, I've had some with an appraisal where, you know, an appraiser came in and priced the property 30K below, and then we were stuck in a situation where who's gonna pay the difference?
All right, what did you do?
We requested it. We asked for the seller to come down, and they did. But we had to give some, you know, to make it work.
Right? 2 years ago, people were paying way more than what it appraised at.
5 years.
Okay, 5. Time is relative. It was like 15 minutes ago, really. 5 years ago. You know, 2021 still.
It's okay,
you know,
4.
so people were on the regular paying more than what the house appraised for. But in a normal market, that is unusual. Here is the negotiation tactic I've used a million times, particularly with agents who maybe just aren't that savvy. That's the price that it came in at, and you can put it back on the market at a higher price and see if you get a cash offer, but your odds are slim. It's still the appraisal. Like, the next guy might give it 10 grand more, but at the end of the day, you've now paid another mortgage, all the utilities while you're waiting, possibly 2 or 3 mortgages. You know what I mean? So you might as well just bite the bullet as the seller. And if the buyer does something like says, okay, then I really don't need those repairs, to try to adjust and compensate for what the seller's doing, you can often make it work out.
Yeah. So what happens when the appraisal comes in low is the buyer comes in with cash, the seller adjusts the price, they meet somewhere in the middle, or the deal dies. Those are the 4 options.
Yeah.
And for loan contingency, I feel like not many first-time homebuyers know exactly what that is and kind of the importance of getting a pre-approval. Do you guys want to Raymond, you want to shed some light on what a loan contingency is?
Yeah, so essentially what that is making sure that the loan can actually be funded all the way through. So if, you know, you're going through your processes, you're waiting for the loan to fund, you don't want to remove your contingency for the loan, because if you do that, then, you know, you're kind of in a mess and your people are going to lose their down payment, you know, that they put in on this house. And you'll get it clear to close from the bank, and they'll let you know, hey, you know, we've gotten everything that we need in order to show that we can actually fund the loan for this person. We got clear to close, and usually at that point is the time where we'll go ahead and remove the loan contingency for that person, letting the sellers know, hey, we've got that portion cleared out. We are not looking to back out for that anymore. We're just looking for the other pieces, if we haven't removed the other pieces by that point in time yet.
Gotcha. So that kind of ties in why we get a pre-approval to begin with. That's pretty much the first step for that loan contingency, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's next after after loan? Clear to close, as what we would say. Once that loan gets fully approved and sent to underwriters, it gets sent to title and escrow for closing.
For funding.
For funding, yeah. So on the next topic here, we're going to talk about some local insights on where to buy a home. Should you buy a house on acreage next to BLM land?
I think it's personal preference.
Yeah,
Yeah.
personal preference on that.
Yeah. Some people want to be in a neighborhood because they find being way out there too scary.
Yeah.
And some people don't want to be near their neighbors, so they want way out there. So.
I've had lots of people want acreage, but it isn't available. But if you buy 1 acre next to BLM land, nobody's building next to you anytime soon. You're going to live your life there
Yeah.
on however many acres that is.
Right.
So you can buy a small amount of acreage and it can feel like you bought a huge amount of
Oh, that's
acreage
good.
because you're right next to BLM land.
Yeah.
On the same note, people can walk on that land. You know, you have to decide what's important to you. Do you want the great outdoors or do you want solitude? Solitude comes with a price because it's hard to get utilities on the last house on the road. Very often there's water because the desert, we just have so many water issues, or electricity. Off-grid homes just became loanable in the last 5 years. I don't know that I've even done one. Have you? I don't know what the criteria are to meet for an off-grid house. There is a special loan product though, and I'm betting the interest rate is high.
I know, but the
Yeah.
problem with it is you have to find 3 comps.
Oh, yeah. Well, there's that too. Yeah. So it's really difficult. So if you want solitude, you're probably going to pay more money. But if you decide that you can live with being next to BLM land, you can get a little more open space for a little less money.
Without the maintenance too.
Right.
Or paying the
You're not paying the
taxes.
taxes on it, right?
I initially thought I wanted a house with on acreage, but then after being at my house with just a little bit larger, acreage, that's a lot of yard work, man. That's like, I don't want to spend my weekends to pulling weeds just to make my house look nice.
It would be nice if, as locals, we encourage people to stop clearing the land, just your little space around your house. Maintain your fire safety zone, but it would be nice to see less clearing of a 5-acre parcel. Just, it's so barren, and the animals that live on that land, I in my mind, I want to be out there so I can see these things.
Yeah.
You can't see them if you have a 5-acre scraped clean parcel around you. I'd like to see people scooch it in just a little bit, leave the rest wild. And that would help with maintenance, though. There's a maintenance idea. Let the rest go. Just keep your space that you utilize on a daily basis scrubbed.
Do you guys have any fact or fictions about real estate and buying a house? I think one of them was the down payment. You don't need 20% or 10%.
Right.
It really depends on what loan product you use. But do you guys have any other?
I'm going to wait till the interest rates go down.
Yeah.
Timing the market. The
Right.
most expensive gamble ever.
Right. The best time to
Right.
buy real estate is 10 years ago. The next best time is right now.
All right.
It's like
You
they
can
say.
wait the whole 10 years and you have no equity.
Right.
You could have just did it. I came across one recently. I have purchased a couple of homes. I've sold them a couple of homes. We have the one in escrow, and we were looking to look at more houses, and they said, hey, I just don't have the down payment. I'm like, friend, you do. Your escrow is your down payment for the next house. We're just going to show where the funds are coming from, and that's your down payment. So go talk to the lender and let's go shopping. You don't have to sell that first house. It's certainly easier and less stress, because selling and buying at the same time is a very stressful proposition. But like some people need to sell and move. You can do that. You can overlap it. You can make it concurrent. It takes a little bit of fancy dancing, but it's something that's easy to do. The salsa.
Yeah. There's like bridge loans too, if you need to have more time in the sale of your current home to upgrade or downgrade to the next one too.
Right. So there's things for that too. Yeah.
I didn't know about bridge loans.
Mhm.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah. James, if you're listening.
I'm learning something new here. Submitting offers without contingencies. I know we haven't done I don't think anyone
Not
does that.
recommended.
Yeah, not recommended.
I know 5 years ago, people were doing that all left and right, but now it's like non-existent.
Your contingencies is what protects your earnest money deposit. So if you're going in, removing all those right out of the gate, you're just handing your earnest money deposit.
You're
over
buying
to
that
somebody.
house no matter what,
Or-
or
or-
you're giving up that money.
Yeah.
Cam and I did one back in the day, in the heyday. And honestly, he was like, nope, I don't want to put any, we were going to get that offer. There were probably 10 offers. It made me sick to my stomach, even as a seasoned agent. I mean, we put 3% down of, I don't know how much the house was. Let's just say it was 300,000. You're talking $9,000 that he was walking away from. I mean, I know to some people that's chump change, but to me, that's money. You can do a lot of things with $9,000. That it worked out, but I feel anybody who's doing that really needs to be super savvy. This has to be a situation. I coached and schooled and explained that, and he was fine. He was a savvy home buyer. It was not a big deal, but it really is uncomfortable. And certainly as a first-time home buyer, nobody should be encouraging you to do that. I don't care what the situation is. You really need to know what you're doing.
I feel like it's just open to litigation if you're doing
Yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
Last topic, and this is for everyone out here, and I'm not trying to bash on Zillow, but Zillow's got everything I need. I don't need an agent, a local one at least. How do you guys feel about that?
Local agents know the area better than out-of-area agents. They're more likely to show up.
Yeah.
That's the best way you can put it.
I can run to the store, do 15 things that I have to do, go show a house, and go do 15 more things. If I lived in LA, first of all, I have no idea. I have gotten offers without septic inspections. They have no idea that there might be a well, just fully unaware of what a rural area can bring with it. The fire thing, which is almost all of Southern California now, but back in the day it was not. And
You're once you close on your house, who are you calling for electric and plumbing?
right, just all of those things.
Having the local references.
Yeah, who's the best car mechanic?
I mean, don't you have a situation right now where the agent just won't drive in to do anything?
Yeah.
As a buyer, they're not representing you. Who's going to point out the defects to you? Who's going to explain the neighborhood to you? Who's going to tell you when you say, are there rattlesnakes here? Do they know? You know what I mean? Like, what kind of flora and fauna? What should I expect if they've never lived in the desert? How
Stay
are they
away
gonna
from
help
the
you with that?
cholla.
Yeah. They don't actually
Anything
jump, but you're gonna think they did. Yeah,
Even some local ordinances too.
right. The recreational cabin situation. How many people do we know have bought a rec cabin and think that they're going to be able to short-term rent it and they can't, and their agent knew nothing about it?
I've never met a out-of-area agent that knew what a cesspool was.
Right, right.
Yeah, I remember the time Jesse showed a ton of properties, or no, not Jesse, but like this out of area agent was showing these buyers cabins, and then I don't know how they got connected to Jesse, but he laid down what it is.
Right.
They got super pissed because they drove all around the desert and thinking they could rent out and put a loan on a cabin.
Oh,
Right.
see?
Well, and that's the thing.
That's the whole thing, yeah.
But if neither of the agents know, who's protecting the buyer and the seller? Literally, you should not be selling out of your area. I highly encourage us all not to do that. Y'all know I said it because you can't know those things unless you're local. So local agents are definitely invaluable.
Well, that sums it up. I hope you guys learned something, and I'll see you guys in the next show.